we're working on is we're going to create a positivity poster or a design based on a positive phrase. This comes from, so when class was just canceled, when everything was just ripped up from the roots, I was on a walk outside trying to sort of get my bearings, and I came across, and there's a picture later in the slideshow, this note that was tied to a tree, and it said, one day at a time, XOXO. And I didn't think a tiny little note on a tree would have impacted me on my walk, but it was sort of just like took a pause and was like, okay, yeah, we got this. So it was a nice thing to see. And you've probably seen on social media that there's lots of different initiatives going on. People putting hearts in their windows. In warmer places, they're doing things on the sidewalk. Those types of things. So this is sort of for our first online project. The goal is to figure out some of the materials you have access to. So figure out how to be successful with those, create an interesting design, and then share it with the community around you. So those are our big things, okay? Oh, my dog's losing her mind. Okay. So supplies are up to you because we're all in different situations. We all have different things at home. Some of you have your sketchbooks or sketchbooks from previous years, which is great. The other things to consider is I've started saving to do some examples for you guys, things from the recycle bin. So one of the examples I made, you may have not seen it already, is I drew on the lid of like an arugula container, so it was clear with Sharpie. And another one I used tea to paint with. So you can think outside your box in terms of materials, especially if you don't have a heck of a lot available at home, okay? So materials are up to you, okay? Now, just like when we're in class, there's going to be a process part and there's going to be a product or portfolio part. So the first thing we need to do is you need to do a little bit of planning on paper, or if you want to do it digitally in a Google Doc, you need to do some kind of planning that you can hand in, okay? Think of different phrases, think of how you might, like types of lettering or fonts that you want to use, and then also what type of imagery are you going to use to add to your design and add to your message, okay? So first part is the brainstorm. Once you're done the brainstorm, if you want some feedback from me, email it to me and we can have like an email conversation, or we can set up a one-on-one of these Google things to talk about it before you go into portfolio, or you can jump right into portfolio, okay? And again, 75%, just like it was when we were in regular classes. Big things I want us to focus on. Your composition is huge, so how you're laying stuff out. So your composition and your design, how you're using your materials, and then how you're sharing it, okay? So in our curriculum, there's this thing called encounters, and the sharing part of it is where we're gonna hit that curricular point, okay? So, and again, you have this also in Classroom. I left all the other resources, so like our table binders and stuff, that's under the general resource. It's like, I think it says art table resource book or something. Any of those handouts, they're all in there. It's PDF for you to access. So this is where I pulled this from. Pick one of those. Think about composition while you're making it, okay? Because that'll be 25%, okay? So it's going to be 25% composition, 25% how you use your materials, and then 25% you shared it out in the world and you showed me how you did that, okay? For handing in, it has to be in classroom. For handing in, okay, I need a planning page or pages, your final drawing. When you are capturing, and I might make a video for this later, your artwork, try to get it as square as you can, okay? So instead of taking a picture where it's like this in the frame, I know it's a circle, but like try to get it as square as you can. And try to get some nice lighting on it, no weird shadows, okay? And then that third thing there, that sharing out part, where are you gonna put it on display? So you have a few options. You can put it in your window so that when people are walking by, they can see it. I would love to have pictures like of what people see when they walk by outside. You can go and tie it to a tree or put it somewhere. One of the ones, there's a video in the classroom. One of the videos, I made a video where I took that clear one and I tied it to a tree in the ravine. Or if you're not comfortable going outside right now, share it out in your social media. show me the responses or that you did it. And that's the 3 main things. Okay. If we continue on in the slideshow, there's our inspiration, different ideas. Okay. So with the imagery, these are some pretty simple ones. There's a heck of a lot more things that you can use than just these, but that's a starting point. Ideas for lettering. Also for your lettering, Diffent is a really good website. It's free. So in here, you can choose all of the different styles. And then for the preview, if you put in your actual quote and then hit submit, it'll give you your quote. And like it'll type it out for you in that font. Okay. If you have a large enough screen and you want to trace it, I'm not opposed to that. If you want to try and freehand it, that's also an option. Okay. Another great place for inspiration is Lisa Condon's Instagram. So these are all of her works of art. She's got lots of really good phrases, imagery to look at. So you can, with her phrases, if you want to take them and redo them in your style, that's cool. If you're really liking how this looks, the easiest way to probably emulate it would be with collage or paint if you have it. Collage would probably be the easiest. Okay. A few other things that I found. So like looking at this one's more representational, right? This one's a little bit more abstract, but they're still considering the elements and principles of design for that composition, right? We have the repetition of the black. We have the colors in different areas to create unity, right? There's enough contrast that I can read it, okay? This one's in a similar sort of style, right? So you can use those types of things, like the examples I made are a little bit more like this versus sort of more representational, okay? But as long as whatever marks we're making or however we're designing it, the designs are adding to the message, that's what I'm looking for, okay? Some other examples, so these ones were done digitally. If you don't have a lot of materials at home or colors or those types of things, but you have a smartphone or a tablet, it's really easy to make a stylus. Just give me a second, I'm going to grab it. From a Q-tip, tin foil, and then a pen. So I just took the pen out, taped a Q-tip in, and then wrapped and taped the tin foil. Okay, you need to make sure it's taped, and you need to make sure when you're touching it that your hand is touching the tin foil, which is touching the Q-tip. Okay. I found if I got it a little bit moist, it worked because you need to conduct the static electricity from your hand to your screen. But I found it gave me a lot more control. And you can use Ibis Paint, which is a free app if you want to do color digital stuff. Totally an option, totally okay. Because then you have access to a lot more things if you don't have paint or different colored things at home. On that note, these types of things, the little experiments I've been doing right now, they are just getting uploaded. I made a teacher Instagram. So if you're on the gram, that's where you can find all these things. If you're not and you want me to send it to you, just email me and I can send you those resources. Okay. Some other examples. So this one's a little bit more decorative, okay, but it's still adding to that positive energy. Same with this one, right? It looks like a sun, but it's got some cool things. They're using blue and orange, so complementary colors, adding that color theory, right? I actually gave this project to my mother-in-law last week because she was looking for something to do. She did it with her neighbor. They've had lots of good compliments, and people like on their walks have gone out of their way to go and see it. It's been a really good way with our physical distancing to connect with your community, potentially strangers, people around you. Okay, and then some other examples. So these are the ones. So that was the top of this. I think it was arugula. Anyways, the vegetable lid thing, and then I tied it to a tree. And then this one I painted with my extra tea from my tea bag. Okay, and just a reminder that creativity is not canceled. Okay, so for this assignment, again, make a plan, execute the plan, and then share it out into your community, however you're going to do that, and then give me those 3 elements. And at any point in time, if you need help, if you want feedback, then send me an email. I'm checking my emails from like 9 till 3:30 or 4 every day. Okay.